welcome to the studio. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Linda.
And we are so glad that you're joining us again. And this will be our first one for the new year. So we should say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy 2024.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
What are you excited about so far in January 2024?
Well, I'm excited that tomorrow we're having our first hand-painted yarn dye class of the year. And we're going to be at Mass Ave Knit Shop, which is, for those of you outside of the Indiana area, it's a large yarn store in downtown Indianapolis. And
yes, you really should stop there if you're in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
These people know how to knit. They go on knitting cruises. They go on knitting train journeys.
They have
are
sleepovers.
amazing. They have sleepovers. They do it all.
Yeah.
They're the bomb.
Yeah. It's going to be so much fun. So we did a small class with some of the people from there. What was that? Early December.
Yeah, here at the studio.
Yeah. So that's what I'm excited about. I love doing hand painting anyway, but then teaching and being part of other people exploring with color and making their own
natural color.
True. How about you? What are you excited about?
This is kind of cheating because I think I said I was excited about this last time too, but I'm still excited about it. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I am excited about our subscription boxes because they got mailed out this week. Our very first seasonal celebration subscription box. Winter being the season that we're in right now. As you would know if you're here, it's about 9 degrees outside.
Yes, and snow on the
It's
ground.
snowy, so it is winter. But we'll show you also now the exclusive colorway that we dyed for the winter subscription box. And first, we worked with Christiana Timmerman, CC Timmerman Arts.
Mm-hmm.
Go to her Etsy shop. Beautiful watercolors on stationery. And we talked about what our inspiration was going to be. And we decided for winter we would make our inspiration juniper because it's a beautiful evergreen. And it has blue berries. They're actually little soft pine cones instead of technically a berry.
Yeah.
Which you'll know if you got the box and you read our card. We have some little inspirational notes in there. But Christiana painted a beautiful juniper branch for her watercolor, and we put that on some note cards. So those are in the subscription box. So beautiful browns and kind of golds, some green with the evergreens and the blues. And that led us to our winter seasonal celebration colorway, which was really fun to do. So we had the dark and the light blue for the berries.
Mm-hmm.
We have a evergreen color, and then we have these beautiful rich browns and golds to represent the branches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll hold them up together.
Yeah.
And it was really, really fun to put this all together, to think about the colorways. We had several tests that went on to get a couple of these colors. They're all new colors for us. Some of them used indigo, some of them used logwood, marigold, fustic. We just had lots of fun making these colorways for our very first box, and we're really excited to send them out.
Yeah.
So the other exciting thing from the subscription box, we send out a set of pattern ideas, something that you could actually make with these 5 minis. These are 80 yard, 20 gram merino cashmere nylon minis. So we send out a little pattern card to have some ideas, and one of the ideas that we found that we thought would work really well with this colorway was a little shawl called the Quintet Shawlette. And so I made that and got it all finished. So we'll be able to show it. And I just loved it. It was really, really fun to do. It went really fast because you had these garter stitch sections. And then when you got closer to adding the next color, you have this mosaic section, which makes the triangles. And so you're just getting a little bit bigger as you go, and then doing the mosaics to kind of bring the two colors together. You want them to contrast actually in this kind of pattern because you want the mosaic to stand out. You don't want to be too close together. But I was really happy with how this little shawlette turned out. I think it would be a nice, keep your neck warm kind of accessory if you don't have a turtleneck on.
So cute.
Yeah. So that was one of my finished objects. Do you have any finished objects, Michelle?
I do. I happen to be wearing it. So for those of you who tuned in last month, this was still on my needles and in my project bag. And this is the terrazzo pullover by PetiteKnit. And I'm going to stand up. Well, it's not great. So that you can see it's got the split.
That's really nice. I think that makes it so comfortable. And it's so soft. So you held two yarns together.
I did.
This,
right?
is
our pure merino sport weight with the Surrey silk.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in the Monet's Garden color.
Which is your favorite
My
color,
personal
right? I know.
favorite, yeah.
And the pure merino sport weight, we were just talking about it. That is our non-superwash, regionally sourced U.S. wool, spun right here in Indiana. So it's a local yarn to us, and it's so bouncy. It's just very supple. It's light, but it's a really great. That sport weight has been really fun to knit with. We've really enjoyed it.
And I liked it so much that I cast on something else with the same combination, not the same colors, but the same combination of the
pure merino sport.
Pure merino sport, yes, the pure merino sport and the Surrey silk together.
Oh, what colors?
So, well, I guess that'll be in the project.
Right. But that's okay. We can talk about our projects because I don't have any other finished objects.
Oh, you don't have any other?
No, I don't have any other finished objects. I did so much Christmas knitting.
The sweater for the...
It's not finished.
Oh, I thought it was finished.
Oh, no. I don't have my sweater finished. Are you kidding me?
Well, it was a holiday gift.
The snow under?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have arms. It's not finished.
Okay.
No, this was not planned to be a holiday gift.
Oh, okay. You started it around
the holidays.
Okay.
Yes, but I did 3 other cowls, which I can't show as finished objects because I gave them to people at Christmas.
Okay.
But they were the Make Your Marl cowl. I think I showed maybe one time the shawl that I did in the same pattern. It's a really nice pattern.
Yeah, you showed us that.
So so I did get those done and a Tromso hat. So
that's funny.
Yeah, I don't have any other finished objects.
Okay, I don't either. Oh, yes, I do. Okay.
Well, that's not yours. This is kind of a cheating one because Michelle did not make this.
Yeah, this is a cheating one. This was from our great knitter, Megan.
Yes.
She did these brioche mitts, and it's 2-color brioche. And the brioche mitts are by Kaitlin at Originally Lovely. And I'll show a better picture like this. But this is a free pattern that Kaitlin has on her website, Originally Lovely. So I'll put that up. But Megan did these for us in our pure merino fingering weight. Mm-hmm. And if
she must have used like Autumn Sunset. Is that the colorway maybe?
Yes, Autumn Sunset and then Autumn Leaves.
And Autumn Leaves.
Autumn Leaves are the plain terracotta.
Oh, so they can be worn the other way.
Yeah. They're reversible.
Nice.
And they are so squishy and soft.
They really are. They would be really warm. I mean, they're brioche, so they're like doubly thick, kind of, right?
Yeah. They're so cute.
I say that like I know. I don't know how to knit brioche. I watched a video on it though. Okay. It's one of my 2024 goals is to learn to knit brioche. I've never done it.
Okay. Well, brioche is a lot of fun. It's not really that hard. It's actually easier, I think, 2-color brioche because you can kind of see what's going on.
It seemed like, well, I only watched videos on knitting straight. I haven't watched any videos yet on increasing or decreasing.
Oh.
Yeah, or so I could imagine doing it straight into color. I feel like I could keep that straight in my head.
Yeah.
But I feel that way, but
Okay.
the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
So that's one of your goals for this year.
That is one of my goals for this year.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the only finished object I have.
Then what are you working on?
So what I'm working on, what's in my project bag? Well, okay. One, this is almost a finished object. This is some hand spun that I got when I went to the Southwest Farm to Yarn in December.
Mm-hmm.
When I was visiting my parents in Colorado. We went
Mhm.
there, and
Nice.
it's so pretty.
It
So
is
this
really
is
pretty.
from Woolly Lizard. She's the dyer of this,
Mhm.
and I just love these colors.
It's very, very nice, like fall. Like this looks like an October
Yeah,
something to me.
yeah.
I love it.
So I might make a cowl.
Mm-hmm.
So Andrea Mowry has that
Traveler's cowl just came
Yeah,
out.
just
Right.
came out.
Mhm. Oh, that would be really nice with the hand spun, with the color shifting.
Yeah,
That
the
would be
color
pretty.
change. I thought that would be really pretty. So
Mhm.
this is almost a finished object, but I have to skein it and then
So it
soak
gets to be a
and-
finished object twice.
That's right. Yeah, when you spin.
If you spin it, I think that's fair. You should be able to count your finished object twice if you spin.
That's right. You get double counting.
I think that's right.
So that's one thing. The other thing is a sweater, and this is another PetiteKnit sweater. This is the Eva Cardigan.
Oh, uh-huh. I remember
Um,
seeing that. That looks
yeah.
really comfortable.
Yeah, and I will show a better picture, but I always print out my patterns. I'm not that technical with, I know some people like to
Mhm.
follow their pattern on their tablet or something, but I print them out and then I circle the size I'm working on and I write
Mhm.
notes on it.
I heard recently about an app that, like, if you have your pattern as a PDF on a tablet or something,
Yeah.
that is like a ruler, like that you can.
Oh, and follow like for
Yes.
chart work
Yes.
or repeat
I have not
rows or
investigated
something.
it yet, but I would like to do it because I do like to use my iPad and have my patterns on a PDF on the
Oh,
iPad,
yeah.
but it is a challenge to keep track of what row you're on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can use the PDF feature to annotate, like to put little notes in or something. It is hard if it's a sweater though, where you're wanting to mark, like, or highlight, you know, the third thing in the parentheses so you're on the right size. That
Yeah.
does, I think
That's
that
right.
is hard to do on a PDF.
Yeah.
You can go through and highlight it in yellow. I've done that before. That works.
Yeah. I like the old pencil circling.
Yeah, right.
Or the pen. Okay. So this is fun. This is the same material as this.
Okay,
So it
the
is
Sport Pure Merino.
the Sport Pure Merino with Surrey silk.
So
and
soft.
I did two related but not the same colors so that you could kind of see the marling.
Mm-hmm. That is really pretty.
Yeah, so I have the teal. This is
Mhm.
not teal. It's called blue spruce,
Spruce.
but it is a teal color. Blue spruce.
Mhm.
And then we haven't named this yet, but together it reminds me of Grover from Sesame
Are you
Street.
gonna call it your sweater Grover?
I think I'm going to call it the Grover sweater.
It does really look. It's not quite as fuzzy as Grover.
No,
but it
it's-
is Grover's color.
Grover is, well, he's almost this. He's more blue than this,
Yes.
maybe.
Uh-huh.
But together it's close. Anyway, so this Eva cardigan is really fun because you start on the back
Mm-hmm.
and you're making something that looks like this, where
So
you're
you
going
go
back
side
and
to
forth.
side, and it makes like a parallelogram.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then you pick up stitches you put these on
Mhm.
hold, pick up stitches and knit down.
Oh, so almost like a drop shoulder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where you pick up stitches sometimes to go around the drop shoulder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't done this before. And then I had to pick up stitches on this side and knit
Mhm.
down. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
stabbing myself.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you join them and
So
pick
you'll
up more
cast on more
stitches.
stitches, or
you don't cast
you
on.
don't ever cast on stitches.
But I just joined them last night where
Mhm.
I had knit down as a flap, and then you knit here, pick up stitches,
Mm-hmm.
and keep knitting around. So
Okay.
now it's all in one piece that I'll just go
Oh,
back
and
and
it's
forth.
a cardigan, so you're never going to join.
I'm
it
never
all
gonna
around.
join.
Gotcha.
I guess I could, and I could steek it.
Mm-hmm.
But my knitting and purling are similar enough that I'm
Mhm.
not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
And I don't mind purling.
Uh-huh.
So that's fun. And I should have finished my embroidery on the baby sweater,
Mm-hmm.
but I was so excited to cast on that I
Well, you
started
said
this.
you were kind of in a rut for a while, so you got out of your what?
I-
How did you get out of your knitting rut? Because I think last time you told us you were in a rut.
That was two.
Oh, was that
times
2
ago.
times ago?
Yeah. And then I started doing all those Tromso hats.
So
I think
the
getting out
Tromso hats.
a
Yeah.
bunch of things,
Mhm.
maybe finishing.
Some of those gifts.
Yeah. I tend to start a lot of things and then I have them in different project bags and then I forget about them.
Right.
And yeah. So getting a few things done, I
Mhm.
think.
So is
kinda-
this the only thing you're working on right now in terms of knitting?
in terms of knitting, yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that is going to be beautiful.
So I can
It's
get
going to be
that
such a soft cardigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Surrey. and
I know,
that-
I love
It's
that
really nice.
feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what's in your project bag?
Well, my sweater that is not done, which is also in the Pure Merino Sport
Oh yeah.
in our cherry blossom colorway, because I have a little friend who's 8 years old, who's very cute and very sweet girl named Amira, and she loves pink. Pink is really her favorite color, and I
Mhm.
decided I wouldn't do this for Christmas, but my goal is to have it done sometime in January while it's still cold enough to wear it. And I saw a sweater pattern called Snow Wonder. It's by Heidi Kirrmaier. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Um,
Heidi K, and
Heidi
we will put her
K.
name down here.
Yes. And it uses baubles to make a snowflake
Those
pattern
are
on the front.
adorable.
So I have finished that, and it like really keeps you going, because it's like every row. Not every row has baubles, but most of them do. And then
So you want to
it'll
keep
be,
getting to the next
yeah,
one.
you kind of
and-
see the pattern emerging. And this also was a construction technique I hadn't done, a little bit like yours, in that there's some back shaping, some back neck shaping, but you
Mhm.
did it flat.
Right,
Instead
okay.
of doing, when you do it in the round, then you have to do short rows, and then you have to pick up the short row stitch, to make your stockinette
like
look
your
nice
German
and flat,
short row.
your German
Yeah.
short rows.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that, and when I do it, I always worry like, oh, I'm gonna miss where to pick it up, and it won't look right.
Yeah.
But this one was knit flat, back and forth with increasing stitches, so you get that extra space in the sweater at the neck.
So it brings
And
that up.
Yes, and
Mhm.
then so that basically came from here and around, and then you just cast on some extra stitches for the front and joined it.
Okay.
And then on this one, you'll pick up stitches for it's got a ribbed neckline.
Afterwards, then you go up.
Yes, because
Yeah.
otherwise the edge would look, your cast on edge would look weird.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's how this one was too. I had to pick up and then.
Yeah, so we'll
knit up.
pick up and knit ribbing like you did there, and then I'm ready to do the ribbing on the bottom and to do the little sleeves.
That's So cute.
So I am really happy with it. It's been a fun pattern to knit, and it's going pretty fast now that the holidays are over.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to give it to her. I think she'll like it.
Yeah.
It's fun to knit sweaters for small people because they don't take so long.
It's true.
And the only other thing in my project bag is not really a project, but it is something I'm practicing on.
Uh-huh.
We have been talking about embroidering on knits. You're going to do the baby sweater. I'm going to embroider actually on an old item that I knitted. I looked back on my Ravelry page and I knitted this item in 2009.
Wow.
So that is a long time ago. That's 15 years ago.
That's right.
So it's a very
Yeah.
plain shawl. It's knitted in mountain mohair from the Green Mountain Spinnery. It's super soft.
Oh, it is.
But it's very plain. It was, just a simple shawl to throw over when you're feeling cold. But I decided from the book, Embroidery on Knits, that I wanted to embroider on this shawl this rye grass pattern. And
So
I thought it would be
pretty.
really pretty. So I have some of our naturally dyed MCN minis, and I'm going to do right down at the point of the shawl. I'm going to embroider with that gold, make it those little rye grains coming
That's
this
gonna
way.
be so neat.
But I thought before I did that, I should practice a little bit because I haven't embroidered anything for a long time. So I traced a little apple
Yeah.
and decided I would do some practicing. So I just did a couple different stitches to outline or to fill in with a satin stitch, or to do this broken chain stitch to fill in the little inside. So I'm going to do maybe a couple flowers just to try some extra stitches and kind of get myself back
Yeah.
into that before I do my embroidery on knits.
Now, will you do the actual wheat on here so that you can have practice
Yes.
doing the same exact stitches?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now, this is partly why I have not done the embroidery on the baby sweater yet.
Mm-hmm.
Since I haven't done it before, I'm sort of keep putting it off.
That's why I decided to start on sort of an older object, not
Yeah.
like a beautiful new sweater that I want to do something
Yeah.
on. I understand the way you're feeling.
And what I think I might do, so I'll feel less anxious about it, is just take some of our DK weight and make a little
Make a swatch. That is actually what Judith suggests in the book.
Okay, so
Is that you make a swatch and then you try it. And I don't have any more of this mountain mohair, or I might do that. One of the things I'm going to have to think about is she recommends that the weight be kind of similar, and so this is a fingering weight and this is heavier, so I might hold two
You're gonna
together.
double it?
Yeah, I might double it. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, if you don't like it with the embroidery, you can just cut it and trim it off.
Take it out.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, will you draw your pattern on some of that, that paper,
Yes.
and then you put the paper on?
So when you buy this book, you get digital images of all
so
the
you
patterns.
can print it out onto.
So you can, no, you, I believe what's recommended is you print it out, but then you have your dissolvable paper, and you trace it.
Oh, you can't print directly to the dissolvable paper.
You maybe could print directly to the dissolvable paper.
Okay.
Or you can trace it, and then basically your knitted item goes into your hoop first, and the dissolvable paper is on it, and they recommend that you actually maybe tack it down at the top and bottom just so it stays flush and flat, and it doesn't get tilted, so like your knitting stitches are going straight up and your embroidery is angled off to the side.
Yeah.
So, and then both of those together go in the hoop for you to knit on. It just kind of stabilizes the knitting, and it helps you go straight.
Okay.
And
That
then
makes
you
sense.
rinse it off underwater, and it just dissolves like magic, and your beautiful embroidery is left.
Okay.
Or so they say.
So they say. All right.
But that is the other thing in my project bag, because if I get a little tired of knitting, then I just can do a little embroidery. So I finished my little apple, but now I wanted to do a flower and try some French knots and different kinds of knots for the middle of the flower, and then I think I'll try the rye, and then I'll be ready to do it actually on my shawl.
Great. So we have another mill tour this month. I think in the show last month we showed going to Red Hill Fiber, who does our pure merino. This time it is Hoof-to-Hanger, which is in Bridgman, Michigan, and we have a little collaboration with them where we had dyed some yarn that they had brought down to us. And so when I went to deliver the yarn, they took us on a nice little tour. And so we will cut here so that you can see the Hoof-to-Hanger mill.
Michelle, now that this alpaca fiber's been skirted and washed and it's on the drying racks, it's ready to go to the picker, be carded, and eventually spun into some really nice fine yarns. I will say that with alpaca, I always recommend blending, and we'll blend this with some fine, soft wools out of Australia, New Zealand, and we'll add to the versatility of this fiber so it doesn't come apart in the knitting and wearing process.
Yeah, because it's so fine.
So it's so slick, microscopically, no scales, and it wants to slip and slide apart, as you know.
Yeah.
So we'll add a little wool, a very fine wool, to maintain the texture of this fine alpaca and not ruin that.
Okay.
And yet add to the versatility of the end product, the yarn itself.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. The picker is here, and we put the fiber on this belt. In fact, I was just picking this morning. This is some alpaca that we had on here this morning that has just been caught up here. I haven't cleaned the machine yet.
Yeah.
But the picker has these rapidly rotating teeth, and these are very violent teeth that pull the fiber locks all apart. So when we spin this little rotor in here, you see those teeth, and I call it the lawnmower. It pulls all this fiber apart.
It all in and
yes.
pulls it. Okay.
Aerates it and prepares it for combing on the carder. Next we create the roving on the other end of the carder here. And let me just bring this coat over here. The roving looks like this. And it is what I call kind of a mare's tail of roving.
Oh, yeah.
Where the fibers are beginning to be aligned. You can virtually see the parallelness of the fibers as they're aligned. And we take 2 or 3 of these leads, maybe 4 or 5, depending on the density, and we pin draft over here to get the exact weight that we need ultimately for spinning. So the pin drafting is a step after carding in terms of aligning the fibers very precisely and getting to the exact weight, 3.8 grams per yard, for spinning on the spinner.
Okay.
So
it goes through here once, or does it go
goes through here once.
One time here, and then
we
the pin
draft, and we pin draft 3 times to get the fibers really aligned well and to the exact weight that we want that roving to be for spinning.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is the pin drafter, and this is where we bring multiple leads of carded roving into the machine, and what I call stitch them together in this machine into a single lead. This series of combs, top and bottom, and there are 72 of them in this machine, as they go up and down with each other in action, do the stitching together of those multiple leads, if you will, and aligning the fibers in the roving. So the fibers get very finely aligned in this machine. So turning it on, this is what it looks like. It's kind of a slow action. Drawing these leads up out of the totes here on the floor, bringing them into the machine itself, and there are safety switches on it, so I can't open it now, but you can see it feeding in. See up here internally to where they're cycling through, bringing the fiber out, having stitched it into a single lead, which then is a little bit finer than the carded roving. This is pin drafted roving. And you can almost see the parallelness of the fiber in that lead and this is what we need for ultimately spinning. We'll run this through 3 times in the machine where the fibers are very finely aligned and will be to a very specific weight for spinning the next step. We can make our way, continuing to make our way over here. Here's our spinner. And these are roving leads that are to that exact weight, that are spun on the spinner up and over and down through onto the spindles over there. But this, you can see now, is a very nice parallel set of fibers that get twisted together into a 1-ply piece of yarn. Of course, that single ply will then be plied together for 2 or 3 plies in the final yarn, which is on the other side of this machine.
So those are the individual single ply bobbins.
Correct.
And then you'll take those and apply them.
And 2 of those will be plied together to form the final yarn. And then we have kind of a paddle wheel machine over there in which we'll skein everything onto 2-yard circuits of yarn, you know, and skein them up in whatever length of skein we want. 200 yards is kind of our mill standard right now.
Okay.
But that's our process. Works very well. We give it a lot of personal attention, which results in really nice products that we turn out.
And then, as natural dyers, there's always something to learn and figure out, and then maybe learn again after you thought you learned it the first time.
Yeah.
So, what kind of dye experiments are you thinking about, Michelle?
Okay. So last month we showed the lac experiments, and around the same time we were doing a little bit of experimentation with cochineal and madder, which are 2 other ways to get red. So like lac, cochineal is an insect-based red, and then madder is a plant-based red. And so we have some footage there of looking at different ways of combining those. For part 2 of our experimentation with red, we're looking at cochineal and madder. If you go back to episode 3 last month, we were experimenting with lac and looking at the effect that an acidic environment would have. And especially for the alum premordanted skeins, you could see the difference pretty strikingly, that although it's in the same hue, the saturation is much better with vinegar, that it really takes up more. So this time we're going to look at cochineal, which is a bug that lives on paddle cactus, and it usually makes magentas and pinks. Second one is madder, which comes from the roots, and those usually make peach and terracotta colors. So for this little experiment, we wanted to see what do cochineal and madder look like together. The cochineal is more of a cool red, more in the purple tones. Madder is more of a warm red in the brick tones. So we wanted to see what would they look like blended together. And then if you put a little bit of vinegar in there, how might that shift the color? In the jars, we had cochineal on the left and a mixture of cochineal and madder on the right. For each of those, we put vinegar in the jars to make an acidic environment. Together, madder and cochineal make sort of a tomato color. And it was really interesting to see what a big difference the vinegar does. I was really surprised how little color was left in the jars with vinegar. So I went ahead and dyed some more yarn in those exhaust jars just for the combined cochineal and madder. This one is madder and cochineal without vinegar added to it. And this is the exhaust. Still madder and cochineal, but this is with vinegar added, and this is the exhaust. So what did we learn from this set of experiments? First, what do they look like together? A beautiful tomato red. I call this one super tomato. For our second question, vinegar or an acidic environment has a huge effect. First, we can really notice much better uptake of the dye materials, so there's less left over in the exhaust bath. But vinegar also changes the fundamental color or hue. So with cochineal, without vinegar, we have kind of a candy pink. And with vinegar, it looks a little more in the purple family. Look at the cochineal and madder together. Without vinegar, we get a bright fire engine red. And then with the vinegar, we get that deeper tomato sauce kind of color. It's always amazing to me how many different colors you can get just from subtle variations.
It's interesting when you think about how many different shades of any one color there are. But like these reds are a great example, right? Because the red that you get from lac is really different than the red that you get from cochineal, which is very different than the red that you get from madder. They have different undertones and different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's really interesting. Yeah. Natural dyeing has made me appreciate that in a different way about how nuanced all of the different shades are.
Yeah. And one of the things I like this kind of takes us back to what we're excited about the class tomorrow. We do talk about like the warm red and the cool red. So a cool red is has more blue tones in it, and that would be more like your cochineal. Whereas madder is much more of a brick red, and it's a warmer red. And so those subtle differences, and then when you combine those with other colors, it's just.
Or even when you combine them together. Sometimes you get really interesting versions of red also.
Yeah, I really like doing that too. So.
Well, that'll be good. So February we'll have lots of reds. We've been doing lots of purples lately. So I'm experimenting with purple. So we're getting all our Valentine colors ready. That must be it. We should think of a Valentine project that we could do.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, last year that was one of your first patterns.
That was
it? The little
Philia
pattern.
Yeah.
I always want to call it the XO.
The
pattern.
XO?
Yeah.
Philia sounds so much more intellectual.
It does. But it's got an X and an O.
I know, but Philia means friend, so it's like a friendship thing. You would knit it for your friend.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is true. That was a nice little ear warmer, so it was a fast, nice, quick project to do. And we had pure merino in pinks and peaches, kind of those sorts of colors. So that was a fun Valentine project, but maybe there'll be a Valentine cowl idea or something that we'll put together with our pinks and purples or something.
Yeah. Rosie
Posy Knits. Oh,
she has all those.
She does lots of ear warmers with different holiday themes. Yes.
Yeah.
She's from Indiana too.
Yeah. So Rosie Posy Knits.
So maybe we could do one of her patterns. That would be fun.
I'll put that up here too, so that you guys can see that.
She does have a lot of nice. She'll do Halloween ones and holiday ones, and I think she does have some Valentine ones that I saw.
I think yesterday or sometime recently it was the heart ones.
Yeah,
I thought those were cute.
Those are cute, and we'll have plenty of pink and purple.
Yes,
I feel like
we
doing
will.
one of those.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's all my news today.
Well, me too. But we thank you for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Stay warm if you're in a cold place, and if you're in a warm place, you're very lucky, and we hope that you're happy.
That's right. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.